Hello BookTube, I'm Jonathan and welcome to Words in Time. Now, I think we've got a fun video for you today because I found an article from Barnes & Noble, shout out brick and mortar bookstores, that had a list of 25 sci-fi tropes. So I thought it'd be fun to take those tropes and put them into a tier list. Now, of course, execution is more important than the trope itself, but I'm going to be ranking these based on potential and what I find to be personally interesting. So let's get into it. Now first is cryosleep. So cryosleep is just people sleeping. In and of itself, that's not all that exciting, but I like the concept, the technology that we can use that to travel over space and time, and the experience of going in and out of cryosleep can be quite interesting as well. So I'm going to give cryosleep a solid B. Now the second trope is generation ships. So this is when we have ships traveling over large distances, over a large period of time, and the people on board are going to be there for generations. So they're going to be having families, and their children are going to be experiencing the same thing, and so on and so forth. So this often leads to a lot of personal relationship issues, the difficulty of living together in a confined space over a long period of time, which is not the most exciting sci-fi concept to me, so I'm going to say this is C tier. And the third trope is psychics. Now, this feels a little bit more fantasy than sci-fi to me, but that's not too important. I'm not sure how much I love psychics, because if they just tell you the future, that's kind of ruining the ending. And if they're just vague and give you little hints, well, that's kind of annoying. Just tell me what you know, man. Why are you being so withholding? So, for those reasons, psychics are C tier. Now, the fourth trope is ancient astronauts. And the explanation for that was the concept of aliens having traveled to Earth previously. So they might have even been here before humans. They might have brought humans to Earth. The pyramids, they might have been built by aliens. The aliens, they might still even be here. So I like this. I would guess that this is usually more of a reveal rather than a premise, although it could be both. There's a mystery going on in the story, and then the reveal is, it was aliens. So I didn't make it sound good, but I actually do quite like this as an idea. I'm going to say it's B tier. And the fifth trope we have is space pirates. So regular pirates are pretty tropey. I don't know how many space pirates I've seen or read about, but I like the idea, although I would imagine it is easier to get on a regular ship than to get onto a spaceship, but that's a problem for the space pirates to figure out. I say B tier. Moving on to the sixth trope, we have uploaded consciousness. Alright, now this is a good one. I like the idea of being able to take someone's brain and put it into a robot or a computer, see how that would play out, both for that individual and for us as a society, if we have the technology to be able to do that, asking the questions of whether we're still human, am I still me if I'm in a computer? Yeah, big brain stuff, that's A tier. And for the seventh trope, we have benevolent aliens. So this is interesting to me, the idea that aliens could come to us, or we could travel across the galaxy or the universe, finally find another conscious being, species, and they're pretty cool. We make some friends. I like that. That's A tier. And next, as the eighth trope, we have killer aliens. The complete opposite. So I would say this is more of a standard trope, us against them. It works because it creates stakes, it creates a conflict, but I'm not sure if that's as original or as exciting, so I'm going to say killer aliens are B tier. And the ninth trope is alien artifacts. A lot of aliens so far, but not yet. At the moment, just artifacts. So this is finding a piece of technology, or maybe even just some junk. We don't even know what it is. And that does create a mystery. I like that. The answer is going to be aliens. So the payoff has to be pretty good. There has to be a twist on that to make that interesting. But I like the promise of aliens enough to give it B tier. Moving on to the 10th trope, we have nanotechnology. Now, this is pretty intriguing, the idea that you could change things down at such a small molecular level and what that could do for biology or other technologies. I think there's really interesting implications here for individuals as well as society. The potential scope here is massive, so I'm going to say A tier. And for the 11th trope, we have wormholes. So The idea of wormholes is pretty interesting, but I would say they are often just used as an easy way to get from A to B, or if the writer does have some theoretical or conceptual understanding of wormholes, I don't. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place, but I do find them intriguing, so I'm going to say B tier. And with the 12th trope, we have parallel worlds. So I love this one. The concept of many worlds, infinite universes, decision trees. Can you travel between one and the other? What decisions do you make to create new branches? What kind of technology can give us access to these many worlds? Stuff like this, dark matter, Into the Spider-Verse, I love it. I'm all about it. This is our very first S tier. Now the 13th trope is interspecies romance. Okay. This does have the potential to explore some interesting aspects of love and relationships, perhaps some social commentary, but the potential for it to get weird and creepy is way higher, and for that reason, it's C tier. And with the 14th trope, we have AI uprisings. Humans' creation turning on us, our chickens coming home to roost. We've gotten too far playing God, like in The Matrix or 2001: A Space Odyssey with Hal. I love it. This is an awesome concept, makes for awesome storylines. It's going up there, S tier. And for the 15th trope, we have clones. Now, when it comes to clones, I just think clones are a bit repetitive. Pun intended. B tier. And with the 16th trope, we have body modifications. So the idea that humans are manipulating themselves with mechanical, robotic, electronic, digitalized changes, giving them different abilities. I think this is pretty interesting. Cyberpunk as a genre tends to get a little maybe grungy or dark for my personal taste, but the sci-fi concept behind that, the body modifications, is very intriguing. So I'm going to say A tier. Moving on to the 17th trope, we have robots. So you've got friendly robots, you've got killer robots, you have androids that look like people. Are they human? Well, no, they're not human. They're androids. But should we treat them just as well as humans? Maybe. I don't know. I love it. Detroit Become Human. Game that came out on PS4. If you haven't played it, play it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Robots, one of my favorite tropes of all time. S tier. And with the 18th trope, we have faster than light travel. But it's not possible, man. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. But often this is just used as an easy way to get from point A to point B, allowing us to explore more of the universe in less time. But if there's some thought given to it, a bit of an explanation, or maybe some consequences for using it, like in Endymion, The Rise of Endymion, I think that's pretty cool. So for those reasons, I'm going to give it B tier. And with the 19th trope, we have big dumb objects. So this is when an item appears typically out of nowhere, either in the sky or in space, and I believe it's referred to as dumb because they don't speak, not because we think they're stupid. And that creates a bit of a mystery. Why are they here? Where did it come from? Is it aliens? It's probably aliens, but maybe not. So I like the mystery as long as there's a good solution to that mystery. So for that reason, B tier. And with the 20th trope, we have mutants. So this is somewhat of a specific genre. We have things like X-Men, which ask the question, if humans start mutating, developing powers, how does that affect them? What are the consequences of that? And I kind of like the concept of humans not being done evolving. There's more to go, and these mutations will start new branches and lead us in a new direction. But I just feel a lot of mutant stories are kind of constrained by similar storylines for whatever reason, so I'm going to give it B tier. So we're down to the last 5. With our 21st trope, we have dystopian governments. So this is quite common because there's quite a lot of rich potential here. It creates a world, it sets stakes, creates an underdog story, there's opposition, conflict, and the opportunity for political commentary as well. Perhaps a little bit overdone, but for a reason. A tier. And the 22nd trope is after the apocalypse. Now, this is another common genre, post-apocalyptic stories, and I don't always love them. I feel like they're a little samey, whether it's because of zombies or a nuclear war or a virus or a plague. The setup is usually the same, where we have a bunch of survivors struggling to survive, and then some humans do some bad stuff to each other, and at the end of the story, the takeaway is, wow, it turns out the real monsters was us. Yeah, that's not really all that original. This is the takeaway from every post-apocalyptic story, so maybe my spiciest take, C tier. And our 23rd trope is first contact. So, more aliens, but this is specifically meeting aliens for the first time. So we don't know if they're benevolent, we don't know if they're killer aliens, or somewhere in between. Or maybe the decisions that we make will push the aliens one way or the other. So I think there's a lot of meat on that bone. I'm gonna say A. And with our penultimate, 24th trope, we have time travel. So this is a common one, and I know it's not always done well, but the concept is just so rich. There's so many theories of time travel, there's so many ways you can do it. Of all the what if questions, this has to be one of the most interesting what if questions. I'm sure all of your friends have asked you at some point some kind of time travel question. They might not have asked you, hey Steve, hey Sally, what would it be like to cryo sleep? They're like, I don't live my life thinking about cryo sleep. But if they ask you about time travel, I bet you they've thought about it. S tier. And with our 25th and final trope, we have sentient spaceships, which seems kind of oddly specific, but okay. Basically, artificial intelligence inside a spaceship. I kind of like that because spaceships are an integral part of many sci-fi stories. So to take something like Knight Rider and put them in space, that's a bit of fun. Not sure how important it is to the story, but maybe you could base a story around that. I'm gonna say B tier. So there you go, guys. We have ranked 25 sci-fi tropes. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with any of my rankings. Which do you love? Which do you hate? And which were maybe left out? There's 25 on this list, but I'm sure there's more. Let me know in the comments what was missed and whether you like them or dislike them. So, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As always, like and subscribe for more sci-fi content, and we'll see you soon.